inherit the earth from our ancestors. Rather, we borrow it from our children. The land speaks to all of us, and each of us are connected to the land in our own way. Whether you're a landowner who holds a conservation or agricultural easement on your property, or a farmer who's preserved the Mississippi River bluffs for all to enjoy, or a family who escapes to the woods to remember a loved one, we all are connected to this land we call home.
I come from Ireland originally, and this is one of the hidden paradises in the United States.
I just remember a gal that came over to ride with us from Germany as a guest. She looked around and she said, "We could never do this in Germany. There is no such thing as this countryside."
Yeah. I bought a farm with a conservation easement that's owned and managed by the Joe Daviess Conservation Foundation, and I see them as a partner in that land.
I placed a conservation easement on this property for a variety of reasons. For me, it was a very clear financial help, providing this openness and perpetuity. And people think, well, okay, God, I'm going to give up everything. I'm not going to be able to. Then you have to really answer those questions and say, I'm not giving anything up. I'm aware that this county has nothing in place, public support for open spaces or parks or forest preserves, and Conservation Foundation is the only viable institution. It survives on contributions. It does not have a taxing base. It does not have bonding power. And until such time as the community steps up and takes responsibility, apparently it's on the Conservation Foundation's shoulder. Having grown up mostly 100 feet in the air in a city, what I missed was a sense of connection to just the way people are in the world.
The end result is that we're really only the caretakers of the land. It's not up to us. This land has been here way before us and hopefully way after. And I think we've got a social responsibility to leave it better than we found it.
You won't be able to have this for your children and grandchildren unless you really make some plans.
And create like a community spirit, and I suppose that's what we're talking about here. To me, it's a philosophy. It's a choice that you make of how to live and how to raise your children, and with an appreciation for land itself and for everything that inhabits it.
Casper Bluff Land and Water Reserve has the only known intact Thunderbird effigy in the state of Illinois. This was a really unique area. Casper Bluff Land and Water Reserve has over 50 Native American burial mounds. It was where they came to worship and where they came to connect with their gods and their people.
Well, we worked with the Joe Daviess County Conservation Foundation to preserve the land that we made part of with our donation and sale to, and it was the part of the ground that was the most important to us that would get preserved, that wouldn't get destroyed by subdivisions and other factors that would enter in, and we wanted to share that with other people. Plus, we can go up and enjoy it anytime, just like when we owned it. You know, it's there for us to enjoy. Our grandkids and our children, they all come out. You get better values, I think, your values of your land and your work ethics and that, you know, because you had to work hard on a farm.
I think one of the big qualities is just that we're proud of them because they're both workers, you know. I mean, I think they could get a job in the hardest of times because they're just willing to work. You know, they have very good work ethics, and, you know, that's something that doesn't always come along if you haven't had that background, you know. and they know a variety of things, and I think they gained a lot of common sense, you know, because there was a lot of times that you just kind of had to figure it out.
In this day and age, it's hard to get children to connect with the land. They've really lost themselves in the Xboxes and in TV. And in the events that we provide to people in the outdoors and the different volunteer opportunities that we offer to kids in this area, it's a way for them to begin to build those values that they've lost along the years. I have a 7-year-old son who I have taken out in nature since he was 6 weeks old. And I've been trying to instill in him an appreciation for the land.
Hardly a week goes by
I know.
that we aren't involved with the foundation on one respect or another. You know, I mean, it's really couldn't have been a better.
And no, it couldn't have been a better experience, absolutely.
And continues to be that way.
That's
you
the
know,
nice thing.
really,
I think we've actually almost enjoyed it more since we've done this. I really think we have.
Well, we have, because you know, we get to see other people enjoy what we work so hard to do.
We would really like to see people donate and become part of it. I think any time that you give something, you end up getting so much back. I mean, that's just kind of like a common saying that people will say, and I think we've gotten so much back from it that it would really be hard to explain to somebody how much is going to come back to you and the feeling that you'd get from doing this, and you know, not just what they're doing at the time, but like we said before, how it's going to go on for generations and generations and generations.
I remember we used to come up here, it seemed like a lot, long weekends, and just run through the woods. And then we would come back covered with burrs, poison ivy. Never got poison ivy. Mark got poison ivy, you got poison ivy, I never got poison ivy. And just covered with burrs, and we'd get out the books and we'd sit on the deck outside and pick everything off of us and try and figure out what plant it came from. Lots of trips down to Royce's farm, and cows, and playing in the haystacks and playing in the barn. And then that big hill back up to the house, to my grandparents' house. And the spiders, which Mark had convinced me were tarantulas, and would pick up and throw at me. Well, our son died in 9/11 at the World Trade Center, and he had just arrived that morning to our meeting. He lived in Virginia. And Mark was unfortunately at the meeting at the time that the planes hit. And so after we learned of his death, at about the same time, I think the Joe Daviess County was talking about wanting to build a shelter. And so we decided that that would be a good way to remember Mark, because he had such a good time up here. He's today's his birthday. Well, I think he got his start of loving the outdoors by being up here. And he played in the woods with Janet, teased her a lot. Janet was only 3 when she first started coming up here. And he went on to enjoy everything that Janet talked about.
Well, he used to take his son camping, too.
Yeah,
Way before his son was,
walking.
yeah, in any position
Still in
to
diapers.
to know what was going on. But he got him off to a quick start camping.
So I think the fact that this has all become a teaching forest and that the shelter is for the school children when they come in the buses to visit the forest, I think that it's a really appropriate memorial for him.
And it's nice to have a spot, I don't know if I could say this, but it's nice to have a spot to remember. Because we don't have a gravesite. So it's nice to have a plaque in a place.
We appreciate the opportunity that the Joe Daviess Conservation Foundation has given to us that enables us to have a place both as a memorial for our parents and for our son that we realize is going to be here as long as we can envision it. It's comforting, it's useful, and we appreciate it. And without an organization such as yours, this probably would not be possible for us. So we're indebted.